Stewart was a student at Lincoln Memorial University. He fell in love with a Melungeon girl from Hancock County, but his parents disapproved, and I guess they were the ones paying for his tuition. They put a stop to that relationship, but he wrote a novel about the Melungeons, and although it seems a bit dated today, it was really the first nice thing anybody ever wrote about us. And that was really when I asked my aunt, when I first learned about our Melungeon heritage, I said, well, you know, what does this mean? And she handed me a copy of Jesse Stewart's book and said, this is who we are. Well, it was a fictional book, but it was a good way of being introduced to our heritage, much better than, say, reading the articles of Will Allen Dromgoole, who was quite derogatory about us. Jesse Stewart wrote about the Melungeons sympathetically. So the Hancock County Drama Association was formed and began the outdoor drama Walk Toward the Sunset in July of 1969. They built an amphitheater behind the elementary school, which was right next to my Aunt Hazel's house, and members of my family were involved in the Drama Association. Even my young cousin, when he was about 7 years old, played one of the village kids on the stage. It was a beautiful little amphitheater. It was on a hillside in a very, very natural setting. You could be watching the play and hear cows and chickens making noise during the play. But it was the benches were just rough wooden benches. The stage was down at the bottom of the hill, and people were coming into Hancock County to watch this play. There was quite a bit of publicity about it, and the play ran off and on from 1969 until 1976. There were problems, of course. The idea behind the drama was to bring economic development to Hancock County, and people did come into Hancock County, but Hancock County did not really have the infrastructure to benefit from this influx of tourism. Of course, people could come to the drama, they could buy tickets, they could buy concessions and a few souvenirs, but Hancock County had no hotels, just a few restaurants. My mother didn't actually consider them restaurants, so my brother and I were not allowed to eat at them at that time, but she was a little worried about the cleanliness of a couple of those places. But Hancock County was not a place where people could come and stay and spend money. People came to Rogersville or to Morristown and rode buses across Clinch Mountain to go see the play. The play, it was a struggle. The play was put on by drama students from Carson Newman College. It was directed by the drama director of Carson Newman, Dr. John Lee Welton, and drama students took the primary roles, with people from Hancock County taking some of the minor roles and doing the backstage work. They built the amphitheater through volunteer labor. But it was always kind of touch and go as to whether or not they were going to have enough money to continue the play. In 1972, the play was not held because of financial reasons. They were able to get a little bit of help. In 1973, the play was staged again. Then in 1974, those of you who are old enough to remember the summer of 1974, when there was no gasoline to be had, and Hancock County was not a place you wanted to be stuck with no gasoline, so the play was not held in 1974. They came back in 1975, but by 1976, attendance had dropped to the point that it was not considered worthwhile to continue the play. It's a shame because it was a very entertaining play, but of course the people in the county really did not see economic benefit. No one from Hancock County was paid for their work. The students who acted the primary roles received a small stipend. They received room and board, but the people in the county worked as volunteers. And as as you know, if any of you who have worked in organizations that depend on volunteer labor, after a while people start dropping out. They find that they have better things to do than to work for no pay, and so by 1976 the drama had really gotten to the point where they just didn't do it anymore. And again, the play has only been performed, I think, once since then in Hancock County High School. The drama department staged the play one time. The play itself was written by Kermit Hunter, who was I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, he was at Southern Methodist University, and he was the author of several outdoor dramas, including Horn in the West, Unto These Hills, Trail of Tears. These are outdoor dramas that are still in production today. He agreed to do the drama for the Hancock County Drama Association. He wrote the story in return for 10% of the first year's gate receipts. So it was a no-lose situation for the people of Hancock County. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of information for Dr. Hunter to work with. So the legend, he worked with legends, made up kind of a dramatic story in two parts. One part had the Melungeons escaping from the better farmlands further east up to the rougher lands of Hancock County, where they wouldn't be bothered. And then in the second act, which took place in the late 1800s, there was of course there was a love story. A young man who was a timber buyer fell in love with a Melungeon girl, and of course there were problems. But when a smallpox epidemic hit the county, the Melungeons, who had already been exposed to smallpox and were immune to the disease, came down to help the townspeople. Of course, this was all fictional, but it did make a great story, and made it kind of a dramatic ending for the play. And of course, it ended happily with the couple getting together and overcoming the obstacles that were placed in their way. Today, the Melungeons have, in a large sense, disappeared. The communities have disappeared. The Melungeons were not only in Hancock County. They moved into other areas. Like all Americans, they tended to migrate looking for better land, better opportunities, and the Melungeons were right along with the mainstream of Americans, always looking for something a little bit better. The communities that were recognized as Melungeon communities sort of disappeared as people left the area. In fact, one of the reasons the Vardy School closed was because so many there was a lack of students. So many people had moved to Baltimore or moved to the Midwest to work in factory jobs that there weren't really enough students to support the school, which by then had been taken over by the county, and there was a road now going over Newman's Ridge. So the Vardy School sort of disappeared, and the Melungeons were kind of forgotten until this play came along. And that's why I think the play is a landmark in Melungeon history, because as the director of the play, John Lee Welton, told me when they were first building the amphitheater, they knew that it was going to be a play about the Melungeons, and some of the volunteer laborers were making jokes about the Melungeons. That guy, he's a Melungeon. They were using it as a derogatory term. But after the play had been running a little while, Dr. Welton told me people would come up to him kind of quietly off to the side and say, I'm a Melungeon too. And that was very significant, because these were people who would not have said that before they got some sort of positive reinforcement. And the play Walk Toward the Sunset provided that sort of positive reinforcement. These populations, these Melungeon communities still exist, particularly in Hancock County. There are still many Melungeons who live there. But they're mostly indistinguishable from their neighbors. As you look around, those of us who are Melungeon look pretty much like everyone else here in the room. The other groups that I mentioned earlier, the other mixed ethnic groups, have largely assimilated into the larger population, and the Melungeons did so as well. But the difference with the Melungeons is, and again I go back to the outdoor drama as a reason for that, the Melungeons began to identify themselves as Melungeons. It was a slow process. Not everybody did it all at once. Some people never did, but it was a situation where all of a sudden they had a